Today we're going to make some rather substantial changes to the Palace Cinema modular from 2013. Not because this is a poorly designed set or anything like that. Far from it. This is one of the more iconic of the Lego modulars. You know, there's 20 of them, and this video is part of our series. We're working backwards of reevaluating each of these modulars, adding them to MILS plates, and doing some upgrades to modernize them. And that's the case with this modular from 2013. There's a few things here that I definitely want to update, specifically like their ground floor inside of this has a plate floor. This was the last of the modulars that didn't have an all tile floor. Things like that that we're going to upgrade. Again, this is a fantastic set, and as you look at the progression of the Lego modulars, this was the 8th one. The first 7 were very blocky, I think, for lack of a better term. This was the first one to really incorporate some very unique building concepts for the time. Things like how they did this upside down arch piece here to kind of build this rather unique kind of homage to the Chinese theater in Hollywood, and among some other things with this set. Again, fantastic for its time, but we can make it even a little bit better, I think. So let's go take a look. First, some relatively simple upgrades. I've never been a big fan of how there's a pane here in this window, but then this arch window, Lego doesn't produce a pane for that. They just have pieces that you can use like this, which I think is a better look to have this in here as opposed to having nothing in there. I'm not a big fan of this look either. These are a little bit tough to put in. Up, see, and I just threw one right through the window. We'll fix that. That's how it's supposed to go. And here's one for that last window. I'm not a huge fan of this look. Again, I wish Lego would produce a clear pane for a window like this. I guess that's something we can hope for with future upgrades. Now let's take a look inside this second floor. Only 6 people can watch the movie on the big screen there, but I think there's some dead space around here, and I think we can fix that. Common theme with these early modulars, they do not really pack much into the interior of these floors, unlike the more modern modulars where there's something literally every other stud. But here, what we can do is just move some of these seats around just a little bit. I'm going to tighten that one up. We're going to move this one up. Again, it's going to be a little bit tight for minifigures to get in and out, but guess what? It is kind of an old school theater, and that is how it was done. Okay, so we put those seats up like that, and we have built, with some extra pieces, same row of chairs that now that we've moved the others up, this fits in just like that. And now we have 9 chairs, so more people can watch the movie. One other little upgrade here on the second floor, this stairwell. It's going to be very easy for a minifigure to fall to their death because there's not a railing here. That's not something that Lego really built in on the stairwells in a lot of these early modulars. So just taking a few extra pieces here and adding ourselves a little railing. It is easier said than done sometimes going in here and getting a few of these pieces traded out. But here is the railing that we kind of pre-built, and it's going to fit in just like this. That way we don't have any tragic minifigure accidents with people coming down off these stairs. Now for a pretty substantial upgrade to this floor. One thing that I always thought was kind of weird. So this is a theater, and there's people on this floor watching this movie. But this is wide open here down to the ground floor where there's going to be people walking around talking. I'm just, if I'm sitting here, I'm probably annoyed by the audio coming up from below. So I think we got an opportunity here to make it more like a theater, and I want to add a wall here to completely close off the theater. So I didn't want to build just a plain wall. So I got a bunch of snot bricks, worked doors into both ends. And as I'm building this, I'm thinking, I've got a lot of cheese slice pieces. And I'm thinking about a theater, maybe like a soundproof wall with using these pieces like this. So started to put this together, and then I realized I could also brand this. I love putting our HOF builder branding on some of these modifications that we're doing. So I got some gray and red, and it worked perfect to be able to work these letters in. So then we got the wall complete. Now to making some adjustments to the original walls and to the floor to be able to make room. So this slides right in. So here's our updated second floor with a new soundproof wall added to separate the theater from the rest of the noise in the building. Now we move to the ground floor, and I'm only going to transfer a few pieces from the old plate onto the MILS plate because I want to make substantial upgrades. The set was originally designed over 10 years ago, and that was a completely different era in terms of some of the design techniques that are available, and even more so, some of the pieces that have been developed since then. Now here's the original sidewalk. I want to get rid of this old-fashioned design here and also just kind of modernize the whole thing and maybe use some pieces that weren't available when this set was originally designed. So we're going to take out some of the strips of light gray tiles that were in the old sidewalk, keeping the stars, just like the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and then adding around the front door there more red, dark red tiles to kind of add to that red carpet feel that this is trying to emulate. So utilizing some of those slanted tiles that were not available when this set was originally designed, adding much more of a more modern design there to the sidewalk. Now we move inside the ground floor, and we've got a bunch of tiles in different colors to help our work here. So much like a more modern modular, we use kind of different colors and patterns on the floor to set off different parts from each other. So for example, you're seeing this 1x1 mix of dark red and reddish brown in the areas where they sell concessions and tickets. Then this black area is the same level as the first step, and it's got some stanchions for crowd control as people come in and go up the stairs to go see the movie. Now the main part of the floor going with the red, looks like the original, but then adding this little design in the middle to add a little bit of character to this. Again, that's something that Lego didn't do a whole lot of in the early modulars from this era. Now that we have this upgraded, we can work on taking the rest of the building and putting it back in place. By the way, now that I'm not using this red base plate that came with this building, this can be sold. It's worth about $20 to $25 right now. Now let's talk about the one update that I've decided not to do. This is an exclusive poster sticker for the Lego Movie that was a gift with purchase when we originally bought this set in 2013. And what it is a special movie poster for the Lego Movie, which is meant to go into one of these windows where they have these other Lego Movie posters. I decided not to include this though. I'm going to leave it like this, and two reasons for that. Number one, this is worth new like this about $40 right now, and I just hesitate to take it off for that. The other reason, even if I wanted to use it, one thing about the stickers that came with the set, they're double-sided. So on the inside of the building, you can also see this same thing. This sticker is only one-sided. So if we put this up in the window, and then on the other side, it would be a blank, or we have to find some other sticker to put there. I just didn't want to do that. So for now, I'm going to put this in a safe place, and we'll just see how it goes. So here it is, a redesigned Lego Palace Cinema on a MILS plate.